Hey everyone,
Hi,
welcome to TFT Tarot for Today, Divine Dabblings with
Oberon,
and me, Banshee.
and welcome to our monthly modality message.
Yes, your monthly keys to
Whatever.
success
But
in whatever.
every month as the sun moves into a new sun sign, we do this forecast. It's kind of different, unique in a way. It's astrology concerning the modalities of the zodiac. And of course, you may know your elemental association, but you also have a modality association.
Right. And so the modalities are the cardinal, fixed, and mutable signs. And the cardinal, fixed, and mutable signs each have one of the elements of astrology in there: earth, air, fire, and water. So one of each is in each of the modalities.
It's kind of a different way of looking at astrology because the modalities provide a different emphasis and focus altogether than your elemental association. It really provides the key to how you might understand and work with energies or tendencies throughout the month.
So we've created 3 readings, one for each of the modalities that's, kind of specific to them for, the month ahead, for
Right.
the astrological month ahead. So that's why we do it at the start of each zodiac sign. And so we're moving into Cancer now. Rah, it's Cancer season, all you
Happy
Cancers
summer.
out there. And that means it's summer.
So let's get going then, and we're going to
Yes.
start with the cardinal
The cardinal
modalities.
signs, which are Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. Since I'm in Aries, I'm all ears.
Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, or make a comment.
Or invite others to join us as well. Word of mouth works too. Go, Mr. O. Is that rhyme? Just can't help myself.
You're going to be able to reach over.
Got it, Mr. O.
And we stream twice a week live. I put the schedule up there before we begin, but we're on live Thursdays and Sundays at the times indicated. So check us out if you're new here, and let's get going.
Okay. We have first card is what changes will the cardinal signs initiate this month? We have the 3 of Swords reversed. So the 3 of Swords reversed, Mr. O. Changes initiated are going to be concerning your emotions and maybe letting go of some past pain and hurt. So maybe that right from the get-go is really a very healthy change, to
It's
not
kind
hold
of
on to
interesting because it maybe in a minor way goes along with my recent emotional reading. But you are healing clearly. There's some healing stuff that's going on for the fixed signs. Maybe
that.
they're getting
the
over
cardinal signs.
the cardinal signs. I'm sorry. The cardinal signs getting over a particular heartbreak or separation.
Yeah. So whatever the case may be, maybe you've had to, you were laid off, or you had to suddenly leave a job, move away, a relationship kind of dissolved. Whatever the case may be, it's time to kind of, let it go with love.
Indeed.
And heal. So how will you nurture and cultivate your goals, desires, or relationships in the month ahead? And look, the Cardinal Fire card has come out, Mr. O. It is the King of Wands. Wow. So, fire sign.
Well, you're going to do it like a champ.
I shouldn't say fire signs, though I'm in there as a, Aries. But guys, this is a lot of cardinal fire energy. And the King of Wands just basically says, put yourself all in, go in like gangbusters, I think, with that King of Wands.
It's a great card to have for this position
Oh,
because
yeah.
it's like I said, it's going in like a champ, really, like you're the boss here. This is really saying the ultimate extension of magnetic attraction and power. You're just going to really be able to put out that nurturing feeling.
Right. I mean, admittedly, the wands, they're very aggressive. But you know what? They know how to be sensitive as well, I feel. And so there's a lot of fire and passion. And so I feel that passion is what's going to really drive, things in this month ahead.
But this is the king of networking, too. This is the
Sure.
king of social attraction.
Right.
All right.
Va-va-voom. So, card 3, how can you gain cooperation or support from others during this period? Well, we have the Four of Swords. The Four of Swords is upright. So, how to gain cooperation or support from others?
Well, maybe it's kind of like playing coy a little bit. Maybe it's like saying, I'm a little busy, I'll get back to you, kind of going remote. So maybe saying, put on a little bit more of a passive stance, perhaps.
Yeah, that's a toughie in this position here. Well, if you are in a state where, you are not up to your normal self, make sure you are not afraid to ask others to give you a little bit of support and help. Or how about this? Telling them that you really need a little time to yourself. In other words, don't just leave them hanging in a lurch. Let them know that you're just taking some time out because you need it.
As an outside thought, maybe it's to encourage people to be comfortable working alone, remotely, as the case may be, that kind of thing, to do more leadership or more self-starting on their own.
Okay, and how can your talents and resources best be put to use in this time ahead? Well, and then we get a reverse card, it's not our first one. It's the Princess of Wands. The Princess of Wands is reversed. And it's interesting, that's the card of summer here, it says.
The Princess of Wands is like the Page of Wands, more or less.
Right. And so it's interesting, we have the King of Wands in this reading upright, the Princess of Wands reversed here. So I kind of feel like the best way you can put your talents and resources to use is maybe in a more quiet way, not exerting a lot of force or doing it aggressively so that people might be like, hey, kind of standoffish. So just kind of apply, yourself moderately and, calmly so that people take you more seriously.
Normally, this card talks about messages, things being received, and maybe this is saying take a more covert route. Maybe don't trumpet the horn so loudly. It's not about keeping secrets so much as just sort of downplaying it. And it kind of goes in line with the other card there, right? The Four of Swords, in a way, kind of like what I said. So it's rather interesting because you can almost see this as being an extension of maybe this need to heal ourselves that we're finding from the beginning.
Well, let's recap and see what we can make of this here. Okay, so the first card, the Three of Swords, was our first card about what changes you initiate. And it looks as though, you're on the route to healing now. You're healing from some hurt, some pain. You need this, this time you've set this time aside, maybe even to do some serious healing. And how can you cultivate your goals, desires, or relationships in the month ahead? That was
the King of Wands. So it's like you're striking out regardless. You're sort of, putting your best foot forward.
Well, I think that, you're showing you're in a position of authority and power still. Obviously you're not letting this pain, that you have experienced hold you back. And so that's really, and maybe that's it too. Maybe that's the driver here. You are focusing on, your energy towards your dreams, goals, and desires and manifesting something. And that is helping you push that pain aside.
So then card 3.
Well, card 3, how can you gain cooperation or support from others? We had this, we had the Four of Swords, and the Four of Swords was upright. And, it's just saying that let people know that, you need this time to yourself. You need some time to
It goes
yourself.
along with the first card.
It does go along with it in a way, but also it shows somebody moving aggressively forward. So it is kind of a little oxymoronic here, or I don't know what you want to say, reversal. But I feel that there's part of this month ahead where you're going to be using it for some downtime and some healing time.
Well,
maybe that's how the month starts out, and then you start moving into that.
Well, maybe we're modeling behavior too and saying that it's okay to be isolated or alone because we're trying to gain cooperation. So maybe sometimes we're saying it's okay to be a little bit in a passiver mode.
And so finally, the talents, how you use your talents and resources best this month. Well, in a quiet manner. I liked what Mr. O said earlier about also not trumpeting any successes that you've had or, boasting about how well you're doing here, Mr. King of Wands, for example. Be a little bit low key,
Subtle.
Yeah, subtle. You know you're doing great. You don't have to trumpet it to the world. What matters is how you feel.
All right.
And that's what we have for the cardinal signs. Went a little crazy there on your reading, but good luck with that.
So that means that we are on to the fixed signs.
And that would be Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius, and Taurus. This reading is for you.
Can I shuffle first?
No. Yes.
We want to cross the strings a little.
Yeah, we should. We should, Mr. O.
And it seems like the cards are finally breaking in. They have that kind of a little bit of a stiffish quality, but
really, I have had little problem with those. They're
after a year, more than a year.
Maybe. It's true that when we first started, I admit I have not been. What did you drop? What is it? The Emperor.
Spoken like a
Wow.
and
Leo. Should have been for the Aries. Are you dropping more? What are you doing? I thought you said these cards were easier to handle.
That's why they're so easy to handle. They just slip away.
I admit when we first started, they might have been a little stiffer, but this deck is thin and a little flimsier, and it's kind of bending pretty easily. But I like this deck a lot. And
I do too. It's a perfect deck to use for this reading.
For an astrological reading, absolutely. Mm-hmm. And one more shuffle for you fixed signs.
So we are up here once again in the TFT Esoteric Library, where we record probably about half of our shows.
All right.
Okay, so card 1.
Card 1 is what are the qualities that the fixed signs need to display in order to make a positive impression on others? Well,
6 of Wands.
That's not a Leo kind of. I see it looks. Is that the symbol of Aries there, sort of?
Could be.
Not quite.
No, it's Virgo.
Oh, it's Virgo.
Or it's Capricorn. Whoops, it's Capricorn.
Ah.
Right?
So at
this
any, I guess, yeah. So at any rate, I look at this and it's the 6 of Wands, a card of victory. And so, I guess maybe if you really want to make a positive impression on others, you need to discuss your achievements, your accomplishments. Maybe this is a little time to be Leo-type boastful.
It's a real Leo kind of energy there, too. And I think it's just saying, basically, it's the opposite of what the fixed signs got. This is saying kind of go out and blow the trumpet.
Yes, I totally agree. So what can you share with others or allow others to share with you? Oh my goodness. It's the... Well, I have something very interesting to say about this one, the 10 of Swords. Okay, so on the one hand, how you can impress others is by touting your accomplishments, and what you can share with others or allow others to share with you is your shared pains. What the struggles you have gone through, the oppression you have faced, that despite people who may have tried to hold you back or literally stifle your progress, stab you in the back, you're still surviving. The worst is past you now and you have moved on.
It's a card of true pain, and it's kind of interesting because it seems to be very well placed with the Scorpio idea behind that energy in this position. So it really is saying, we have to share that sense of bitter defeat sometimes in order to make people understand, there are more ways of things happening, and we can't account for everything always working our way.
All right, and card 3, card 3 is, what role will your connections or the connections you make play in this cycle?
The world reversed. Should move this around.
Yeah, I'm a little over too much. Wow, so, okay, the role your connections or connections you make, well, you know what, maybe they can help you figure out how to move forward successfully now from these losses, that you have experienced. Maybe they're here to help you figure out what is left to be done, to achieve success. Where you pick up the pieces and where do you go from here?
In a way, the card sort of speaks to the idea that it can bring you nearly there. Your connections will bring you nearly there, but so therefore the implication is you yourself have to take yourself the final way.
So I really feel this is a good month for you, fixed signs, to reach out and connect with people and not be afraid to share from the
There's
heart.
some sharing, yep, absolutely. So then finally,
how will you be able to achieve a balance between work and pleasure this month? Well,
whoa, Queen of Cups in a good position.
I don't think that's going to be a problem.
Oh, she looks a little scorpionic there.
Well, yes, I do see a ginormous Scorpio there, Scorpion. So, I think that just be aware that, you know what? This month so far has been all about sharing, and sharing from the heart in a way. Your successes, your failures, your defeats. And so it's about your emotions, and it's about sharing your emotions with others. And so also to keep a healthy balance, though, and a check, on that at work. You don't want to go overboard.
Well, this position speaks to the Taurus kind of position. And Taurus, like Scorpio, are creatures maybe of a deeper passion or a sense of feeling the passion, feeling the sensuality, especially Taurus. And it's interesting to note, of course, that Taurus is the flip side, the opposite sign of Scorpio. So it does seem to me saying, like, Tauruses, they learn how to love what they do. And so finding that balance is really kind of easier because they get so much sensual pleasure out of almost everything in a way.
Well, let's recap, Mr. O.
All right.
So the qualities needed to display in order to make a positive impression is, hey, tout your accomplishments, achievements. I don't know if some of you are like trying to impress employers, get a raise, get a job, whatever, get into a school, whatever the case may be.
And that's
this is a time to show your stuff.
That's the Six of Wands, and it's augmented by Capricorn kind of energies, which really are very success-oriented.
And so what can you share or allow others to share with you? And that, I guess, is a good point here is, share with others your defeats, your failures, what you've learned from them, what you've been able to take away from them.
How you saw the light beyond.
Yeah, and vice versa. By all means, listen to others,
That I have nothing more to add. Sorry,
okay.
I cut you off there.
No, that's all right. What role will your connections or the connections you make play in this cycle? And that was this one.
And that's the world reversed. And so I think the idea here is that your connections can take you pretty far, but it really is on you to pull success all the way through. But don't be afraid of riding those connections, using those connections, because ultimately their goals are similar enough to yours that they want that for you. They want that sense of getting to perfection.
Yep, I can't add to that. Use your connections to bring you success in this month ahead. It's like they will help you get there, but as he said, you're going to be putting in the work that needs to be done to get there.
And this is across the board. It could be about the emotional matters you need support from or the material matters you need support from.
Right. And ultimately, will you be able to achieve a balance between work and pleasure, or how? Well, I just say there's just this, sharing, this nurturing aspect to the queen. She feels for others, and maybe this is also saying again, though, to be aware that, make sure, you're listening to others, and I think the queen is there for that, but make sure also that you share from the heart as well. People can learn from your story and learn from you.
Well, the Queen of Cups rules emotions, but I think it also rules imagination. And so this card could also be saying too is don't be afraid to visualize how you want this to work out, how you want to see that balance erecting in your life. Sorry about that. Do we have to go to the ER?
I'm bleeding. No.
So that's what we have for the fixed signs.
That's what we have for the fixed signs. Getting a little overexcited there. We're sitting kind of close. I think that's why, right? Rubbing elbows. All right. So we are on the mutable signs now, which is Sagittarius, Pisces, Gemini, and Virgo. This reading is going to be for you. You rubber band like mutable signs. So very flexible. All right. Here we go, Mr. O. So the sun is going into Cancer on the 20th.
That's Sunday.
That is.
Today.
That it is.
We record a day earlier, so obviously.
And so happy solstice to everybody.
Indeed.
And we'll be doing our live stream also.
In fact, depending on how we schedule this, we may have already done our live stream.
That is true. But then again, there's also a Material Matters on Sunday.
Yes, there's no rest for the wicked. Or the Wiccans.
All right. Or the TFT.
Or the TFT.
All right. So, mutables. The first card is about how will you need to shift your perspective during this cycle. And first card is, oh my, the King of Pentacles reversed.
The King of Pentacles.
Yikes. So yes, you want to shift your perspective to one from procrastination to action, I think, and particularly in the financial material areas of your life. But it could be anywhere that requires growth and, some work to be done.
Yeah, it seems like you're slow to motivate. You have to figure out what it is that will motivate you.
And if you take your eye off of the ball, you could lose an opportunity, whether it's in business or your personal life. So how are others' emotions going to affect you, mutable signs, in this month ahead? Oh, look at that. We got a repeat card, but it's upright this time.
We have the World again upright.
Yeah. So basically, I don't know. I think that you could score with others, It's really interesting. You got the World in this position. So I feel that, if you're into the business of selling things to people, you'll really be able to appeal to them on an emotional level. And also, if you're trying to sell yourself to others, like going for a job, career, or you're trying to get that first date, I think that success is assured.
To me, I get the Saturnian influence here, and so I'm thinking that from the emotional level, you're kind of calming things, or you're sort of balancing things in its own way. You're sort of bringing a sense of foundation or control to others, or to others who might need your help.
So the third question is, what do you need to know or find out to better position yourselves for success? Another repeat card. It's
Reverse
the
this time.
Ten of Swords reversed.
Hmm.
Okay, so what do you need to know or find out to better position yourself to success? You need to know that it's time to move on. You know, the worst had passed. It's time that you move on. Leave that, leave that baggage behind pretty much and start fresh. That's your way to success.
It really is true. This is totally a no-can-win situation. It's not about somebody else not winning either. It really is about you personally. You really should just abandon ship here.
Well, it's over and there's nothing left to do but walk away and take a new course. So whether it's a job or something else that you have to leave behind you, if you want to position yourself for success, don't try to pull anything back from your past experience. Move forward with fresh eyes.
And as hard as it is to say this, there's nothing to learn there.
Yeah. Nothing to see here. Okay. And finally, what kind of adjustments will the mutable signs need to make in order to be more effective and achieve success? Oh. It's the Nine of Wands reversed. Again, this ties into that Ten of Swords, what we just said, almost perfectly. Because it's saying know when to put up the white flag and surrender and let it go.
Yeah, it really is. This looks like the mutables have a real hard month ahead.
Well, or something has passed already and you're trying to work your way through that. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, it could just be that it is actually, something that goes back more than a sun sign, or at least another sun sign. And so there is a sense of some oppression thinking with that Saturnian stuff that it's time to turn the page.
Hey, and that's what we have. Let's recap. So basically your first card was how you need to shift your perspective during this cycle. And it's really getting back to work, I feel like, and not taking your eye off of things because you could miss out on some opportunities. As you pointed out, lack of motivation. Something has drained you of motivation, and it could be the situation that you're recovering from.
And there's sort of something there that makes me think of discriminatory thinking, non-critical thinking, like you're just having a hard time focusing in your usual, more critical thinking way.
And so how are others' emotions affecting you? Well, you've got the World here. So I really feel like you could appeal to others' emotions. People may notice what a hard time you've had and what you've had to overcome. And there is success in your dealings and connections with others, I think, in this.
But with that sense of Saturn there too, their emotions may be saying, of course, this chapter is complete.
Right? That's true. They realize you're putting closure on something. And that leads us into that Ten of Swords reverse, is what you need to know or find out to better position yourself for success. And that is that the worst is behind you. There is nothing left to see there. There is no pieces to pick up. Move on in a fresh direction.
Move on.
And that is backed up by the adjustments that you need to make this month with this Nine of Wands reversed.
There may be some sense of at least a response to say, I'm done, I give up.
The flag is waved.
Right. Just the dignity of that. But the idea really is that you are, of course, moving on.
You know what? Waving the white flag often seems like a failure and a defeat. But it's not always, it just means you don't want to fight anymore. And you're done. And you're ready to do something more constructive with your life. So, good luck with that, mutable signs.
Alrighty. And so that ends another monthly modality message. This one was for the month going ahead from today, the 20th of June, Cancer. So
till when the sun goes into
Leo.
So that wonderful shining star, sun of Leo.
21st or so of July. We will be here.
Yep. So take care, everybody, and hope to see you soon.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Happy summer.